What if the very thing holding you back from the life you want isn't that you're not doing enough, but you're doing too much? What if hustle and grind culture, the belief that more hours equals more success, is the very thing stealing your peace, joy, and fulfillment? Today I want to show you why doing less is often the real solution, and how shifting into this new way of living can actually bring you more success, not less. By the end of the episode, you'll see why slowing down isn't falling behind, okay? It's stepping into a better way of living that creates more fulfillment and more success. Hey everyone, welcome to Real Influence. My name is Vaillancourt, your friend and fellow traveler companion in the Great Life Experiment. Here we explore how to break free from autopilot, live with clarity and courage, and align your life with what matters most, living for now, not for someday. So today I want to open with a story about having kids. Okay, having kids was always a dream of mine, even though for a couple of years I actually didn't know if I ever wanted kids, but I kind of thought one day I'll probably have kids. And then when I had them, it was the biggest blessing of my life. And I love my kids. So as I get into this conversation today, I don't want anyone thinking that having kids will make you fall behind, but a lot of times people think that they will. And here's what happened, and I'll be blunt, they do make you fall behind initially, and they'll continue to make you fall behind if you think that, okay? And that's what we want to start to shift our focus on. Whether it's kids or other commitments in your life, you're going to reach a point that you just can't possibly invest more hours into a business. And you can go to Dan Martell's course, buy back your time, or listen to the people that say to delegate and hire people. There's only so much of that you can do as well. And I would say that there's a lot that talks about like the space you have, the space that you have to store stuff, the space that you create in your calendar is a space that's going to get filled. Okay, so think about that. No matter how many things you delegate, no matter how many automations you set up, if you continue to have free time, you're going to want to fill that free time in some way. So what's the secret to actually overcoming that? It's root cause. We're going to talk about 3 things today that you can start to do to realize that doing less is actually accomplishing more. And just before we get into the episode, if you're hearing this for the first time and you're thinking, yes, that's me, I need to actually get back time, I don't know how to do more by doing less, and all these things that are stopping you from living your ultimate life and being fulfilled and happy from it, I want to introduce you to the Great Life Experiment. Okay, this is a 30-day challenge. So for 30 days, you're going to get one short, powerful daily shift. The exact tools and reflections I use to stop chasing and start actually living, they're the same reflections that got me into personal development, helped me get sober, helped me to actually start to live my life. It's completely free and it's designed to help you enjoy your life while creating more success by doing less. So go today. It's called thegreatlifeexperiment.ca. So this episode came whenever I was listening, I was scrolling my phone, which I do still scroll on my phone, okay? And what I learned about Netflix and scrolling your phone, it's that it's not bad unless it becomes like a really bad habit and you're doing it in front of your kids, and it's breaking the core values of what you want to set as a standard in your family or for yourself. But ultimately, I was scrolling. And I came across David Goggins, Gary Vaynerchuk, Alex Hormozi. And I don't know if David Goggins said it, but I know Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, as everyone knows him, his content is now, some of his content is coming out and he's, you know what, I wish I would have went out to the bars more. I wish I would have maybe got drunk more. I wish I would have had more parties because I realized that I missed so much of my life. So here are all these people, these gurus who were shouting from the rooftop to hustle and grind, put your head down, be disciplined, don't go out, don't enjoy your life because one day you'll be able to enjoy your life. They're all now coming back and they're shifting because there's a shift happening. There's a consciousness that's happening. This whole work till you die or work harder, longer hours so that one day maybe you can actually achieve the business or become a founder, have a $50 million exit. Those are all pipe dreams. And it's not to say those are bad things, by the way. If you have a $50 million exit, congratulations, that's amazing. But the point is, most of us want to enjoy our life, not someday. We want to enjoy it now. So as I'm seeing this shift, I thought it's important to bring this up in an episode and start talking to you about 3 tactical ways you can implement this in your life. And by the way, I'm not advocating for going out to the bars every single night, getting drunk, and just partying all the time. But the point is, it's about balance. But most importantly, it's about balance to enjoy your life now and not later. So step 1 is identify what you believe about success, money, and time. So earlier I talked about like the root cause. Okay, so I'll give an example of this, okay? So what I believed about success, money, and time, for one thing, whenever I was thinking about money, first thing I always ask people is, what did your parents, when you were growing up, how would you explain money to somebody? Money was blank. So most people would be like, money's hard to make. money is the root of all evil. Something along the lines of those assumptions, right? And maybe you have your own version of it. You can drop it in the comments to let me know exactly what money was to you and your family when you were growing up, or what it is still today in your existing family. But for me, money was hard. Money was scarce, or money had to be earned. You had to work hard for money. And then as I got older and I got into like business development and started working in masterminds and with coaches, I was always taught to hustle and grind. You had to. You had to put in your time. You had to do more than other people. You had to outshine. You had to add value. Postpone everything you want to do for the greater sacrifice so that one day you can actually go and live the life you want, because you'll have more money and all these things, right? So if you're believing that you have to work harder, if you're believing that money is scarce, then how are you ever going to actually enjoy what you're building? Okay, so this is what we want to address. So ask yourself, are these even true? Or are they keeping me trapped in hustle mode? I'll also give another example of when I worked with David Bayer for a full year of coaching. This was transformational. This was the pivot point of my life. So whenever David asked me, how have you defined success up until now in business? What made you successful? And I'm like, David, okay, listen up, man. Here it is. You got to hustle, grind. You got to work harder, longer, and it's all about sacrifice. Okay. And that's what I said. I'm running out of time. I'm running out of money. I'm running out of energy. Like, I can't do more. I've got kids now. Like, I used to work late into the evenings. I used to be able to sleep in longer, even though I sleep in a little bit more than I should. My wife takes care of the kids a little bit more in the mornings. But the point is, I define like I'm running out of my hours the way I used to build a business, the way I used to become more successful. I can't do it anymore, and I'm scared. And I don't know if I can actually ever get to the next level that I want to get in my life and my business. He's like, got it. Okay, so we need to reshape that. So he started to do what he called the decision matrix, which is basically, if you've listened to other episodes, is you take the limiting belief. In this case, it was money's hard to make. I have to hustle and grind. Basically, all the things I just said. And he's, well, that doesn't feel good. So we know it's some form of the opposite. So money is easy to make, and the best way to produce a result is to spend less time on it from a relaxed state. And I was like, that's crazy. That's not going to work. But what happened from that, because I invested like over $100,000 for this guy to tell me this one thing, but there was many other lessons along the way. But this was the first one we started with, because he had 5 trips in his community, and I had to commit to those 5 trips. I had to commit to flying out to different countries and take time away from my family or my business and actually just go and be a part of the community and live and learn and do business. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to build my side hustle because I don't have any time. And now you're asking me to take all these trips. He's like, taking the trips is what's going to provide you the freedom. It's what's going to provide you the relaxation you need, because you need to be doing less, not more. And to be honest, I was skeptical. I didn't believe that this was going to work. But I was like, hey, again, I'm paying you a lot of money. I have to commit to this, whether I like it or not. Okay. And part of having a coach is actually listening. A coach shouldn't just enable you. Like, oh, it's okay to feel that way. We all feel that way. You need someone to challenge you. Okay. And that's what a great coach really does. So I went on the first trip and I experienced a lot of emotional, like, hey, I should be back at home. Like, this is kind of a waste of time, even though it's a little bit of fun. But as I relaxed through it and I practiced actually being present, and some trips we went with my family, and I was like, this is what I want. This is what I want to build. This is what I want to be doing. Why can't I enjoy this now? So I really started to be present with my family. I started to close my laptop earlier in the day. I started to be at the event versus trying to get caught up on texts or emails or things that I thought were making me productive. And I just started to live my life. And the beautiful part of what happened from actually going on these 5 trips and avoiding work more, and it's not to say like I wasn't giving to the primary client that I have, which is Bioptimizers. I was still putting in the hours that were needed, but I wasn't working the additional 40 hours, making it an 80-hour week anymore. And what happened though was incredible. One, I got to actually live my life. I got to take trips with my family, and I just got to enjoy the things that I had built that I wanted for so long. Sometimes we get focused on like, what's the next thing? Like, but we're so not focused on like, but wait a minute, I desired this level of income and this freedom 5 years ago. Now I have it. Why am I not enjoying more of it? So the outcome that I thought I was going to get wasn't the outcome that I got. The outcome that I thought I was going to get was like, my teams are going to fall apart. I'm going to make less money. I might get fired from this, or I might go bankrupt from all these trips. But because it created the necessity for other people to level up, and it opened up empowerment for other people, I saw my teams rise to the occasion. I saw the business thrive. I saw my family happy. I saw and I experienced myself actually being happy because I was just living my life, living it on my own terms. And from that, the opposite happened. I love the George Costanza episode in Seinfeld when he's just doing the opposite of everything he's ever done, because up until that point in his life, he wasn't successful. I was successful, but now I was doing it in a way that's complete opposite of how I've ever done. So again, step one is identify what you believe about success, money, and time. Start to shift into a new identity. Start to shift those beliefs into how could money be easier to make? How could I go on those trips? And then find proof. And it's the evidence you need to build to start to train the reticular activating system, the part of the brain that notices and focuses on the things that you put focus on. It's going to start to build the evidence and start to show you that it's possible. And the more you do it, the more you see that it's possible, and the more opportunities are going to start to emerge to make it even more possible for you. And it's going to feel like less friction. So step two is practice gratitude. Now, practicing gratitude, I hate the idea of the gratitude journal sometimes, because there's a difference between intellectually knowing something works versus embodying the experience or the emotion or the feeling. And so for me, gratitude, I've done the 5-minute gratitude journals. I've done the, list out 50 things you're grateful for today. But I was actually resenting it because I'm like, this takes up a lot of my time. Like, I'm looking to get more time, but I'm looking to be grateful. One's got to give here. I can't do both. I can't do this gratitude journal, not resent it, because then I'm resentful of doing gratitude, which is the exact opposite experience. So the thing I want to ground you in, though, is to be grateful by reflecting back on the things that once you wanted and now you have. And for me, I'll give you an example. I had a whiteboard about 6 years ago when I met my wife. I had a whiteboard that there was a river, there was an income, there was a family picture of this beautiful family with like children and things that I wanted in my life. And I had it up behind me in my office. And every day I would look at it. Every day I would focus on it. And over time, over 6 years, I got everything I wanted. I got the income, I got the family, I got the job, the freedom, the travel, the lifestyle. Everything I wanted to do was accomplished. But then I had these moments where I was like, I'm still not happy. Like, what the hell's going on? Why am I not happy? Because I'm chasing. I'm chasing the next thing. There's not a point in my time where I was reflecting back on, oh, I really wanted that nice black Dodge Ram truck, and now I have the jacked up truck that I always wanted. I'm not experiencing the grateful moment in the truck. I'm not experiencing the grateful moment with my family because I'm so focused on the next thing. I've trained my pattern, my behavior is I'm only happy when I'm chasing the next thing. And if you can start to address that, you can be aware of it. And you realize that this is just a belief and it's not even really part of you. This is just a narrative you've created. It's a story. And stories can be rewritten, which is so beautiful. We are the only species on Earth that have the ability to rewrite our own narratives, our own experience of what's happening around us. As two people could have the exact same experience, but the story they tell themselves about that could be completely different. One example is my mom dropped a glass one time. And she's, oh, I'm such a klutz. I'm always dropping things. I'm always breaking things. Why am I so clumsy? Another person like me could drop a glass and be like, oh, that's too bad. I guess I'll clean it up now. I don't label myself as a klutz or being clumsy, but we have the exact same experience, two different stories. So back to practicing gratitude, I want you just to reflect, where are you at right now? And where were you 10 years ago? Maybe you're in school. Maybe you're in a job you didn't love. Maybe you're with a partner you didn't like. Where are you today? I guarantee you're going to find at least a couple things that you can be grateful for, that you can say, hey, you know what? I really wanted this vehicle. I really wanted this house. I have the partner I want. I'm going to enjoy that a little bit more now. And I can rest assured that I don't have to worry about the next things that I want in my life coming or not, because I have proof that they're on their way. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. And we'll talk about the echo effect in another episode. Make sure to check like the different playlists that I've got, because the echo effect is really powerful. It talks about how there's always a temporary lapse in time that's going to take place between when you want something versus when it comes. It's not going to happen overnight. Good things come to those who wait, right? So if you can start to train your brain to see that like everything you once wanted, you now have, and that even the things now that you want are based upon building the business or the lifestyle or the things that you once wanted. So you don't know the next thing you're going to want, but you have to start to identify that, hey, things are really good right now. Things are great, in fact. And I can just rest easy. I can relax through the next part, knowing that it's all coming because I have evidence of it. So that's the way to really practice gratitude. Not just list the things that you're grateful for, but how long it took to get them, the things you once wanted you now have, and then go live in that. Go enjoy time with your family. Close down the laptop a little earlier. Everything that you think you need to get done doesn't need to get done in a day. In fact, if it doesn't get done, it probably wasn't meant to get done. And you know how I know that? As David Bayer always tells me, it wasn't meant to get done because it didn't get done. That's the facts. And it seems so simple, but if you start to recognize that, take the pressure off, you're going to start to live a much happier life. All right, step 3, see interruptions as blessings. Especially if you have kids, this one's going to really ring true for you. So for a long time, I prided myself that I protect my time. Do not try to come and talk to me in my office whenever I'm doing something. Now, if I'm recording a podcast, a little different. Interruption isn't necessarily a blessing, but it could be. It just depends on how you interpret it all. But I prided myself on, I block out my time. You can't just call me. You can't just show up to my house, all those different things. But when you have kids, it's a little harder to ignore these little beings who have nothing but love for you and are just coming up looking for attention. And I caught myself a few times being like, oh, like another interruption. Dad's just trying to get this thing done. We're on trips and I'm trying to get a few emails done because, hey, 30 minutes of emails is going to put me way ahead of my life. It's crazy thinking. But at the time, like just answering a few emails that get interrupted by my kids. We were in Antigua, Guatemala, and had this experience in a hotel room where my kids came in. And I just asked for 30 minutes. I'm like, I have some emails I need to get done. Then I'm going to be present the rest of the day. But I was like upset. It upset me. And then it upset me that I became upset. Do you ever have that moment you're like, oh, I'm pissed at myself because it got me angry. I didn't want it to let it get me angry. So here I am like embodying this for my kids, showing them that like work's more important than them. And I just had this like moment as I was walking to the event with my wife. I was telling Monica, I was like, hey, we need to walk a little slower right now. So I want to talk about what just happened. And I'm like, I'm really upset that I let that upset me. I don't want to live that way. And I realized that the addictions that I had already overcome, like sobriety, quitting drinking, the addiction of doing more was still very active in me. And that was the bigger addiction because the addiction of doing more was leading me to numb out. The addiction of doing more was leading me to want to party and escape and to get drunk because I couldn't handle it. I was going too fast. I was trying to get too much done. I had too much stress. So that was the core addiction that I was facing. I brought this experience back to David Bayer when I was coaching with him. And I said, David, I experienced this stressor in my life where when I get interrupted, it really bugs me. And I don't want it to, especially with my kids. And he's, what if your kids coming into the room is actually God giving you a sign? And whether you believe in God or your religious base at all, it doesn't matter. But what if this is the universe's sign, okay? Just you or me and say there's a universe, there's a greater power of some sort, or just there's synchronicities that are happening for reasons beyond our own intellectual understanding. But what if this is God or the universe coming in and telling you, hey, it's time for you to stop working. You've done enough. You've wanted kids, you have them. They're here with you right now. They're asking for you. This is you basically asking yourself through your kids to stop what you're doing. Stop the addiction. Stop thinking that producing more or a little bit more work is going to actually amount to something. No, this is your signal. So every time you get that signal, remember that reframe. And I was like, oh my gosh. From there, things changed. Now when my kids interrupt me, I completely push whatever I'm doing aside. I look at them fully and I am present. And in that moment, I can also tell them that, hey, daddy loves you. I can't wait to go spend some time with you later. Right now, it's got to finish this one thing. Is that okay? And most of the time they're like, oh yeah, daddy, like go ahead and finish your work. They're super understanding. But if I was like, oh, you kids, like you keep coming in the office and I get upset with them, that's not the type of dad I want to be. That's not the type of partner I want to be. So this is a work in progress. I'm not perfect at this. There's times where I still do get upset, but it's a lot less than before when I can shift into that frequency, when I can shift into that reframe and understand that this is actually what I wanted. I'm asking the universe, hey, I don't want to work as much. I don't want to be as stressed. And the universe is bringing me interruptions to tell me, hey, this is the universe. We're delivering. We are asking you, stop working so hard. And you're ignoring us. You're getting upset with us. So see it differently. And you're going to have the different experience because you're labeling it with a different interpretation. All right, so just to recap, doing less isn't falling behind. It's realigning your beliefs, grounding in gratitude, and seeing interruptions as blessings. The interruptions are the signal that you're asking for already. You're asking to make more money. You're asking to get a raise or become something better in business. The interruptions are potentially fuel for that. You have to see it that way. It's life asking you, hey, come live life with me. And if there are interruptions that like aren't your kids or people that you don't want to actually interact with, that's a whole different story. We can unpack that in like time blocking and protecting your time. And I still do that. But the point is, the people that mean the most to me, the people that I am building this business for, this lifestyle for, when they're interrupting me, that's love. That's not something I want to push aside. So when you get that, and if you have that feeling, do that reframe. I guarantee it's going to be really powerful for you. So I invite you to do one reflection at the end of this episode. Where do you need to do less so you can live more? And as always, if this episode resonated with you, please like, subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Give it a rating. Let me know what you think in the comments. I love to see comments. I want to know if any of this is resonating with you, what other questions you have, and what other experiences that you can feed as inspiration for anybody else watching this video, that beyond my opinion, that this is possible, because I know there's proof out there. Okay, so I will see you in the next episode. As always, continue to live from an internal alignment versus external validation, and we'll see you soon.